Alright, so let's see. I've got a piece of agate here, Clifton agate from my friend Seth. Of course, Kevin wants to be in the film. Anyway, I'm going to see what I can do with this. I've been sitting on this for a while, so sorry about that, Seth. So I'm gonna try to do something with it right now and see how it works. He tells me it's not really an agate, and it's some kind of chert, right? Let's see. Bradfield chert, I guess is the other name for it. I can't really read that very well. Anyway, it says rare, so here we go. See, now he's used to being on film. So, well, he'll probably go off to the side when I start napping this. Let's see. Yeah, he already knows. He's my little spectator. Okay, so it seems like the kind of chert that I'm used to working, and this is raw, by the way. Okay, we'll see what I can do. I haven't looked up ahead of time what points were made from this Clifton agate, so I might just biface it and leave it at that. See how thin I can get it. I'm pretty sure I can probably make a Kirk corner notched or something. They're very widespread, but we'll see. I want to make something that actually was made out of Clifton agate in the past. So, all right. So yeah, I begin with just roughing up the edges, making them stronger. I will be using modern tools on this one, although I am going to be revamping and revisiting my Abo toolkit. Once I get that done, I'll start doing more allergic carpet videos and that kind of thing. Okay. So, what to talk about during this video? I laugh because I know what I'm going to talk about already. It turns out that 3 of my videos were flagged, not just one, or 3 of my videos were age restricted, and I'm not sure if if the channel was reported or these videos were reported, right? Because they seem pretty random. The videos seem pretty random. 407, you know about that one, but also 019 and 473, they were also age restricted, and I reviewed them, right? I didn't review 473 because it's kind of long. I didn't review the whole thing, but I did watch 019. I think that's the shorter one. Anyway, the words punch, take down, and beat up are in those videos, so they might be looking for these particular words, and they don't want videos to be watched by children under 18 that have those words, I guess. All right, so I understand that, and I'll wait a little while longer before I actually dispute the age restriction. I'll wait a while before I dispute that. To see if they're going to do anything else. They could have put some strikes against my channel, but they didn't, right? All they did was they age restricted it. A strike actually takes your channel down, as far as I know, for a certain period of time. And they did not do that. Now, if someone was intentionally reporting my channel to get it taken down, that's one thing, but this looks pretty random, so I don't know if I would go as far as to accuse someone of trying to take down my channel. It looks pretty random. and they may be doing it just so they don't have to monetize or pay out money. Haven't monetized my channel anyway, but if I had, those particular videos would not be able to carry ads. So they could be on another campaign to streamline their site so that they don't have to pay out so much money. And it could be totally random. So that's what I'm thinking. Now, if someone was intentionally trying to take down my channel, I was thinking about that last night. All I had to do is report my channel and it would go through an audit kind of thing, like reporting someone to the IRS. The IRS will come in and do an audit, and if all your ducks are in a row, you're fine. But if they're not, then you're screwed. So that may be what happened, but I'm not going to speculate on that. I'm not going to jump to that conclusion. But if there are ways to try to figure out if that's what was happening, I'm going to save pieces like this. There are ways to try to figure out if that's what's happening. So if someone was intentionally trying to take down another channel based on the wording within the channel, you watch to see if their channel is being cleaned up or modified or scrubbed for those particular words. So just watch and see if it's another napper. Watch and see if they're taking down their videos that may have the same wording, like beat up or punch or take down or those kind of words. Watch to see if they're scrubbing for those kind of words or other words as well. I got a feeling that they could go after the word abo, right? Because it is a pejorative in Australia, and a couple of my subscribers that have told me about that one. I knew about that one in the past. I just didn't think it was in general use anymore. There's another one that's sounds even worse. That's in general use right now. They've gotten away from using the word abo for a pejorative for Australian Aboriginal people, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get away from the word abo myself, just in case. I've got viewers from Australia too. Maybe they were not able to see those type of videos with that wording, right? So I don't know if that's the case or not. Maybe someone can help me with that one. But I don't allow pejoratives in my house, so I don't mind them age restricting videos based on language that could be pejorative or could be slurs. I don't particularly object to that, right? If that's what's happening, I don't really care. In fact, it helps my channel in a way, because any publicity is good publicity. That kind of thing. All right. So if you reported some videos thinking that it would hurt my channel to get a age restriction, it's not going to hurt. It's actually going to help my channel. Okay. And I've learned from certain people who are manipulative in my life on how I could capitalize on someone picking on me. So it's not going to hurt if that was the intention, but I don't think that was the intention. Okay. We'll see. I'm already posting on another site. I post on BitChute, right, just as a backup. All my new videos go on BitChute as well. Someone suggested Rumble. I've got a subscription to that, or I don't know if I'm subscribed or whatever it's called, but I follow people on Rumble. Most of them are on YouTube too, I think. But I think it's a good policy to have more than one option, just in case you lose contact with certain people on YouTube. Okay. You know, and I have viewers from all political backgrounds on my channel. Right, conservative and liberal and everything in between, and everything on the fringe. So I don't get into the political aspects of anything. I try not to anyway. I hope I don't on this channel. This is nice stuff. Anyway, I agree with going after people who use pejoratives. I don't like pejoratives at all, even if it's describing your own ethnic group or whatever. I don't allow it in my house. So I am going to start using the term, or stop using the term abo, and favor the term natural materials and natural techniques or ancient techniques, and just stop using the word abo entirely. So I'll be using natural techniques or natural tools. And as far as punch, the punch that for flint knapping, vertical punches, horizontal punches, that kind of thing, I'm going to start using the word striker or flaker. Now I know it might be caving to caving to certain sensitive populations, but I don't care. I do agree with watching my language. I do think it's important culturally to make accommodations for people who are genuinely uncomfortable with certain words. I understand that. My household is mixed ancestry, Native American and European, right? So I understand it. Now, I'll be using, let's see, I think that was my mistake on this here. Let me see. So yeah, I'll be using the words natural materials, natural tools, flaker and striker. Flakers are more for pressure flaking. Strikers are more for percussion flaking. Yeah, I think with this crack, I may have opened one up from the cortex. I still have enough here, if I want to make two small, very small points here, but I would probably use these for cutting tools or scraping tools. I'm going to try to get something out of this piece and be more careful. This is not slick material, right? It's not glossy. It's not like something like this that is raw and glossy. This is raw and a glossy material. This is dull and kind of brittle. It's going to be difficult to notch this material, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's too bad. And I don't see any other further issues with it. There is a crack in here. You can see that one right there. All right, so I need to be careful with this. because once it starts getting thin, it looks like it's kind of brittle. All right. Okay, so let's see. While I'm zigzagging here, I can talk about something else. Yeah, see, there are some existing cracks in here. That may have been what happened. Okay. And I think I did a video on material from Seth that was lower quality. I called it lower quality Horse Creek or something. I got this point sitting here, and I made this point. I don't want anyone to think that his stuff is low quality. He sent it to me specifically as a lower quality material to see if I could do something with it. He's got really good stuff. He's got excellent material. So I don't want anyone to think that he doesn't have good material. I just want to get that out there and make sure everyone's clear. Okay. And this is some of his material he was generous enough to share with me. It's really nice stuff. It's got some translucency to it. So, and I've got, these little flakes. I can make miniature arrowheads, or maybe some actual Madison points or something, whatever's in the area where this is found. Okay. Yeah, it flicks pretty easily, but it is on the rough side as far as raw stone, but it seems to be consistent. As long as it's not cracked, it's very consistent. It reminds me of some of the chert that I got out of New Mexico. It's hard, very hard. It'll probably eat up the antler tools pretty badly, but not impossible to work with antler tools. Let's see. Which reminds me, on that one video with my vertical punch style or horizontal punch style, that flaker was rather phallic. Right? It did look like something we shall not mention. So I think I'm going to redo that series anyway, just out of principle. Just because, I mentioned in the beginning of the video it was kind of odd. My particular style, where I put the flaker under my knee, is a bit odd if you look at it. If you're a normie and you don't know what you're looking at, it'll raise some eyebrows for sure, right? For us, with it in the flint napping community, it's no big deal. But I've had people watch my napping with eyebrows so far up it combines with their hairline. You know what I mean? They go, what the heck? Okay. Anyway, it's funny. It's good for a laugh, I think. But I'm going to redo that series, because my abo technique is a little bit different, or I can explain it a little bit better these days. That was 5 years ago. Yeah, this platform's a little too strong for the antler. Let's try this one over here. And I don't use swinging billets, right? I hold them close to my hand, and that limits the speed, which is really not a good thing for my style. I may go back to swinging billets, but I don't like them because I'm not as accurate. I'm more accurate close in. Okay. So yeah, these platforms, I took them down a little bit too much. They're a little bit too strong, and the antler's not able to grab into the side of the workpiece. It's got to be able to at least grab a little bit. If it's rounded, it slips off because it's, this is crumbly, and it doesn't really grab unless there's a bit of a sharpness to it. And you do need it to grab, because you have to have downward as well as inward force. Yeah, it grabbed that little sharp piece there. Let's see. So anyway, I'm going to redesign my tools so the strikers and the flakers will look less, how should I say, less, have less characteristics of the subject that we will not mention. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I always specify that my videos are not made for children. When you upload a video, you've got that option. You got to click, is your video made for children? I always click no, just in case. All right. So yeah, Antler will work on this. You just got to have sharp platforms. As usual. There's only a few times where you use dull platforms with Antler. And it's usually in the preliminary stages. When you get to the final stages, you kind of do need sharp platforms. In the preliminary stages, when you get a large billet and a large workpiece, you do need a kind of a dull area, because you're exerting a lot of force. You don't want to crush it. But at this stage, yeah. There are some guys that are much better at this than I am as far as billet work at this stage, but I tend to, as soon as it gets down to like 3:1 or 4:1 width to thickness ratio, I go to the flaker, to the indirect percussion flaker, to get it thinned down to 6:1. Okay. Let's see. All right. What else was I going to talk about? Yeah, I think that's it. I wrote some notes on the back of this little envelope. All right, that's it. Now I don't know what to talk about. Yeah, except maybe the fan was on that flagged video, the video called Flagged. I did that so quickly I forgot to turn off the fan, and you can't hear me in that video. I can't hear myself in that video. I gotta turn the volume way up on my phone anyway. I don't know how it is on a computer. I review most of my videos from my phone. So I have a feeling a lot of guys watch videos from phones. So I think I have to at least review it from my phone, if not both computer and the phone. And the built-in microphone automatically tones down the background noises. So the fan noise in the background goes up and down depending on how much I'm talking, or the volume of my speech. Or when I do this, the volume of the fan goes down in the background, so you can hear this scratching better. Anyway. Now this seems like a really good platform right here. Really good angle and everything. But I have trouble with these. See that? The more perfect the platform it seems, the more trouble I have with it. And I don't know why that is. It's probably because the platform that I need for these hard flakers is probably has to be more rounded instead of angled. I think that's what it is. So I got to be very careful with these very straight angular platforms. This also reminds me a lot of raw alabates. Yeah, and alabates is agatized dolomite. So this may be an agatized mineral. It's not something that you want to make really thin points out of, because it requires a lot of force to get these flakes to come off. And you know what happens when you apply lots of force to a thin workpiece. Lots of snapping. Okay. And I've been working a lot of heat treat lately. So much heat treat, in fact, that people are saying that I'm not used to the raw stuff. Or that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to working raw stone. I've got lots of videos where I work some of the toughest stuff possible on my rock challenges. So just go back and look and see. If you want to see someone working really tough stone. I know it'll probably take a while to find just by the descriptions, but I've worked a ton of raw stone. I started with raw stone. My technique, this technique here, with the more powerful upper ranges of percussion, was developed because of raw stone. So there's that. Okay. Let's see, to get a thinning flake here, I'm having to really exert a lot of force. To get that kind of thinning flake, I'm hitting it very hard. Yeah. The good thing is with steel and with indirect percussion, I can hit a very small platform and get a good flake, which conserves on material. You can work on this with natural materials, but and you can isolate the platforms to make it easier to remove a flake. But then you're also limiting your material. I mean, you're taking down a bunch of material that can be conserved with this particular type of technique, where I'm hitting small platforms and not losing much width to thin the piece. Okay, but that's an old subject. I'm sure everybody knows that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too worried about steps. A lot of guys will start panicking about steps near the edge, or anywhere actually. But as long as you are very careful, because I could easily create a big stack there by accident. Once you get something like this, as long as you're very careful about it, about where the next flake is coming from, you don't have to worry too much. But that's the thing, right? That's what experience will give you. Okay. Let's see if I can get that step fracture. I'll try one more time. forward just a little bit more and see if I can get it. But I'll do it on the next segment. Okay, we're going after this step fracture here. I already crushed it a little bit there, so I got to move over to try to get it, hopefully, with a flake from here, this direction, and it'll fan out a little bit and take off most of it, hopefully. Maybe I can hit this. Of course, it looks a little bit too perfect as far as the platform goes, so we'll see. The ones that are a little bit too perfect are the ones that usually don't work out for me. So I'll modify it a little bit. Let's try this again. All right. That looks like it might have worked. Yep. So you see how that worked? The platform is not isolated. It's continuous, right? All the way across there. So if I had missed that one, I could have hit there. Now if it was isolated and that's the only opportunity and I messed it up, there would be no other opportunity to flake there unless I took back the edge a lot. Unless I took back this edge all the way probably at the step fracture or almost there. You know what I'm saying? To drive another flake. Okay. I still don't know what I'm going to make from this. Maybe just a stemmed point, you know, with a little contracting stem. Just a triangle with a little contracting stem would be the easiest. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking for another opportunity to thin it down. You know, there's a big old bunch of mass right here. I can try to thin that down. And since it looks like it's already creating a stem on this side, I can use this material here to drive flakes in this way, because you know I'll lose that material as I drive flakes in. But that's what I want anyway for the stem. So I'll thin this area down from this corner because I'm going to lose this material anyway, instead of trying from the side. That allows me to preserve a lot of the width on the side. Okay. Provided it actually works, right? I need to take a deeper, more powerful flake there. That one stopped, I think, pretty much because, you know, some of that hit the step fracture. Part of that flake hit the step fracture. Would there be less step fractures with a natural tool? Yeah, probably. But I would have to hit extremely hard. With this kind of material, I would have to hit extremely hard with natural materials and risk breaking the natural material tool. But that's pretty common. I mean, that's the way I nap anyway. Usually right on the edge of breaking it. The tool, that is. and sometimes they do break. I don't know if I mentioned it, but that the tool in the horizontal punch video is broken right now. I broke it doing something I can't remember. I think I was trying to make blades off of a core, off of a conical core, and I was using it as a vertical striker, and I think it's split. I think the tip split on that one. And it was moose antler. Moose antler has a tendency to split or to crack longitudinally or along the long axis of the tool. Yeah, this material is consistent, right? It doesn't have a lot of defects. It's just difficult to run flakes on because it's very tough. Yeah, I got to be very careful about this kind of situation because it could easily create an island in there that I can't remove. An island is just a step fracture that you've tried to damage control or to do damage control on it by removing it, and you end up stepping and stepping and stepping all the way from every angle. You step at every attack. Every attack is stopped by a step fracture, and you end up with an island in the middle that you can't remove. That's the danger of these kinds of step fractures. I'll come back to it later. Sometimes you just have to live with them. If that one stays in there, oh well. Okay, I'm almost done with the thinning. Almost, because I need to, once I regularize the edge, I'll see better where I can remove some more thinning flakes. I really don't have to thin it any more than this. I can just shape it with pressure, but I'm going to try to thin it more. After I regularize the edge. Get a little bit of symmetry in here. Not go too crazy with removing material. Yeah, pressure flakes just fine with copper. Let's see. Yeah, pretty much the same with antler. That pressure flake's fine. Why do I grind a lot for the antler? Because I'm going to have to push really hard. Yeah. I want to try to drive some flakes. Normally an indirect percussion strike will clear that, but with pressure I can feel this tip bending. You need a lot of force to drive flakes like that on material that is tough like this. So the edge can't be too sharp because then it'll crush. And see, I wasn't able to develop enough power in that pressure flake, even though it was a very intense pressure flake. Still didn't go. I can see a crack in here. Little crack right there. I think that's a crack. So I'll just pick at it, see if it is a crack. Yeah, I think it is. It coincides with the step fracture there. I don't think that'll be a problem. We'll see. Alright, now I've got to clear this off before that becomes an island, and I've got to clear this off too. So let me take back this edge. It'll help with the symmetry, and as I'm doing the symmetry, it'll take back the edge so I can drive some good flakes. Because this will set up, it'll make the edge more robust, less prone to failure as far as crushing or stepping, because I'll have stronger platforms. This step fracture may come loose just by pressure flaking, and if I hit it with another pressure flake, it might pop off. It might have a step behind it. You know, it might step fracture right there, but it's better to have like a step than that undetached flake. That little flake may detach just with pressure. I'm not going to try it, but it might do it by accident. It might do it incidentally as I'm doing this taking back of the edge. I might try it intentionally in a little bit. So yeah, I'm still using the natural tool just because I wasn't even thinking about it. The brain adapts to it right away. It'll change there is a little bit of a change in the technique. I wasn't even thinking about it. But the technique will change a little bit depending on what you want to accomplish in your mind. Your mind will adapt to the tool. The tool doesn't adapt to your mind. Your mind will adapt to the tool to produce the flakes that your mind has in it. Your mind does not adapt to the type of flakes that are generated by the tool. The tool will start to generate flakes that are in your mind. That's how the skill works. Now you can go with the flow and all that stuff, but the way the brain works is it has a picture of what it wants, and it will try to accomplish what it wants with the tools available. Now I could be wrong about that, but after 10 years of doing this, I think that's right. Now if you can't get what you want, then of course you're going to have to just go with the flow. But the initial impulse, the natural impulse, is to try to generate what you have in your mind. Like, I had in my mind that I want to clear that off with a nice flake, and that's what I was shooting for, and that's what I got. And if I didn't get it, I would keep trying and trying until I got it. I wouldn't go, after the first failure, I wouldn't go, well, I guess it failed, so, you know, I'll just go with the stone, let the stone tell me what to do. No, you adapt so that you can make the stone do what you have in your mind. Okay. Trying to sneak up on that thinness. It looks pretty, I mean, it feels pretty strong, so I'm hitting it hard even though it's risky. My voice is cracking. That means I need to drink some water. Yeah, I'm not going to show the drink. No, yeah, I will. I broke down and I got soda water with caffeine, right? I hate advertising for these guys, but damn, that stuff's good. All right. I only drink coffee on my birthday and Christmas these days, because it messes with my stomach. Yeah, it turns out that crack that I was worried about, it did present a problem. Hopefully that problem is not too bad. What can I make now? Oh, just a smaller stem to point. And that crack may have been in there from the beginning, right? And that crack may have been in there from the beginning, and it just stepped there because of the crack. I can go back in the video and see if I caused that. I might have caused that with the steel. I don't know. Is it focusing? I spent a ton of money on this phone. It should be. The camera should be working. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do, because it looks like it's going to go in pretty far. Yeah. I'm not going to take back the width. I'm just going to nap up to the crack and leave it in. All right. Man, there's so many words in napping videos that can be misconstrued as something else. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to be watching every word that I say. Words like crack. Oh gosh. Bite. Flake. Why don't I just run through the whole gamut of words and see if I can get this one flagged too. All right. So I don't want anyone to think that this is not good stone. This is pretty good. It's just a little tough, and it is, I guess, it has some cracks in it to begin with. It's definitely a very typical raw stone. It's very pretty. A lot of times the prettiest stones are the hardest ones to work. It reminds me of raw alabates, which is an agatized dolomite. So it's probably in the same family of stones. Should be nice and translucent if it gets thin. Just like alabates. I wonder if some Cahokia points were not made from this stuff. I know they were made from kaolin. I don't know if this comes from the same area as kaolin chert. But maybe some of the Cahokia points were made from this, and it looks like alabates, and maybe they're confusing it. Although I think there are tests that have been done to determine the origin of the stone for the Cahokia mounds points. I think there has been analysis that's pretty accurate. Well, that solves that problem, right? I can still get a Catahoula out of it because they have a concave edges. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be a problem, because I have napped stone that has cracks in it, right? But was still staying together. Was still able to stay together. This one is sensitive to the cracking. This one can't handle its crack. Gosh, you can interpret that however you want. Golly. If they want nappers off of YouTube, I think it'd be pretty easy to get them off, just by all the weird stuff we say. But I see a lot of monetized flint napping channels, so I don't think we're going to go away anytime soon. Unless maybe they go after preppers or something. People with primitive skills and self-reliant and all that stuff. Maybe I shouldn't even say it. Heck, if they go after those people, I'm just going to involuntarily leave YouTube. I've already pretty much left every other social media site from back in the day when social media was actually good. These days, I don't know. Social media's always been kind of screwy, but these days it's totally insane. It's because they accommodate the insane. I hate to say that, but that's what's happening. The insane are such good activists, such engaged participants, and they spend their money, that you don't want to fight them. You want them on your side. Just in a situation like this where you're trying to monetize content, you want engaged, very active people, and those are the ones, unfortunately, that seem to be a little fanatical at times. I don't want to use harsher words than that, but I think you get what I mean. Accommodate the social media is accommodating the crazies. How's that? Is that a pejorative? The crazies? Probably. Okay. Now see, I'm losing the advantage of thinness, right? It was thin before. Now if I have to make it narrow, I gotta do some more thinning flakes. So that's what I'm gonna do. to keep the same width to thickness ratio, I'm going to have to thin it down a little bit more, and hopefully I can say the sentence without using the word crack. And I can't, because I just used it. Anyway. I'm not worried about the word crack. I just think it's funny. Okay, let's see. I gotta make sure I'm very careful with this stage that I don't mess up and shoot an overshot. Although I don't think I'm much in danger of that. It's always a specter, a looming specter. A danger. Because that flake was hard. It was struck with enough force to create an overshot. But that's what you need to clear off imperfections sometimes. Okay. I think I pretty much got rid of the high spot. All right, so I'm going to pressure flake the rest of this. I'm going to use a different pad this time. I kind of missed this other pad too. We'll see. I got these two pads from my friend Sean over at Tundra Leather. I get asked that question a lot. I make my own pads too, so don't forget. I don't have a shop though, so I don't sell them. I don't know if Sean sells them or not. All I know is he's a supporter of the channel and he's been very generous. And I got from him a lot of leatherworking tools also. So I'm going to be doing some leather work. Yes, indeed. Very soon. I don't know about on channel, but well, I might as well, right? I might as well start filming everything. That way I have plenty of content. I want to start making sheaths for knives. Make some primitive clothing. Make some quivers. Not for sale though. Maybe for sale, but not commission work. So don't ask if I can do a quiver for you or something. I think I'm going to make some napping gloves or napping mitts. Napping mittens. And especially in the cold weather coming up. I'm going to be trying to nap in cold weather. I don't usually nap in cold weather, but if I get the right setup, I build a fire or something next to where I'm napping. Space heaters are kind of noisy, although I can probably put a space heater in my napping area. I got that fan going, so the space heater is not that much louder than the fan, if any, and then do some winter napping. But I would like to get some I would like to make a mitt, you know, with these fingers together, this one separate, almost like a shooting glove, right, or shooting mitten, just a trigger finger by itself separated, but the rest of it in a mitt. All right. Okay, home stretch. I only got 1 minute. It's probably gonna have to be 3 different parts merged together. Okay, but I want to get some of this thinned down first before I do the stem. Yeah, I'm going to need my domed pad. I'm afraid of snapping off the tip. All right, I'll continue on the next segment. Okay, so there's one more lumpy spot, and I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to have to use indirect percussion on this, just because the pressure flaking is very shallow. In general, pressure flaking is very shallow, and any mistakes on the surface are going to stop flakes. And I've been learning this from the fog guys, flake over grind. I've been watching some of their videos. They contour the surface to make it convex, but they take out any imperfection whatsoever. They don't even want to see any imperfection at all. No trace of any irregularity in the surface, which is very different from what we do, because we nap through many imperfections and irregularities. But they know from experience that the irregularities will stop a flake. Even the simplest irregularity will stop a flake, and they don't want that. It just ruins their whole day. But with an indirect percussion strike, you can usually power through a lot of areas that a pressure flaker cannot get. Or a pressure flake cannot achieve. Unless you're Hercules or something. Right? And there are guys who are able to pressure flake with hundreds of foot-pounds of force. If there was some way to measure it, I bet you some guys would be off the charts. All right. And normally those flakes would travel with an easier stone. Yeah, those flakes should have shot way up into the body of the point. I say should have, but they would have if it was a different material. If it was easier to nap, yeah. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. Well, I don't want to use, see with the Ishi stick, that it does produce nice flakes, but then it will bring out the defects. Like if there's a crack anywhere in there and you push on it with an Ishi stick, that Ishi stick has so much power that any weakness in the body of the point will show itself, and you'll either, like what I did is I exposed that crack and it really took a big bite out of the side. But if I use a smaller pressure flaker with less force, there's a less chance of doing that. And I don't want it to happen at this stage, right? So I'll use a smaller pressure flaker. Yeah, you can push on a pretty delicate edge. With this material, you don't really need to grind it all that much, even with copper. That's how tough it is. I should say strong, because tough, you can misconstrue the word tough as being not very nappable. This stuff is very nappable. And you can get good at this. This stone has the potential, a lot of potential. You can get good at napping this stuff. There's some stuff that no matter how good you are, it is so tough that it requires a fair bit of luck to nap, to nap well. Yeah, some of it will nap well and some of it won't. Some of the stuff out there is really tough and you can get good at that, but then, you'll display work that you've done with really hard to nap stuff. Okay, the camera overheated, so it just now turned back on after I was trying to cool it down. Hopefully it'll last long enough for me to finish this out and call it good. Merge the pieces together and upload this before it gets late tonight. It usually takes just as long to upload it as the length of the video. So if it's an hour and a half, it'll take an hour and a half to upload. So yeah, I'm just going to quickly do this. I don't know if this matches any points in the area. Sorry about that. In the area where this material is found. But I'll try to sharpen this up and then call it good. We're still on, yep. I'm thankful that this tip doesn't seem to break off easy on this particular type of stone. Keep my fingers crossed. No, I'm not going to risk it. But anyway, yeah, it looks like the tips are not too difficult to keep pointy. Some raw stone, the tips will just fly right off. You pressure flake anywhere near the tip and you'll have an incident where it'll just pop right off. Okay. Yeah, it'll probably sharpen better with some antler, but I don't have a sharp tip antler to do this. Yeah, the antler grabs the edge better. It will also crush the edge if you're not careful. I would say that it's good practice to finish up with antler, but I find that antler sometimes will crush the edge, and you can get a better edge with copper or steel. But this seems to work okay. Alright, I'm going to call it good before I lose the camera again. It's over 100 degrees in the shop, so I'm flirting with luck right now. Let's see, a little more symmetry would be nice. The translucency is okay. All right. There you go.